Did you know that around 500 years in Africa, there was a powerful Christian kingdom that had stone churches, a huge capital city, its own money made of shells, and kings who wrote letters to the Pope? The kingdom was so strong, it traded with Portugal, built armies with guns, and even beat European invaders until it fell apart. This was the Kingdom of Congo, and today, almost nobody talks about it. Congo existed in what is now part of Angola, Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Republic of Congo. Back then, small groups of kingdoms lived near each other. But the most powerful group in the east was called the Seven Kingdoms of Congo, Dia, and Lanza. Tradition says Congo began in a place called Vungu. Around 1375, a smart leader called Nimi Nzima married the daughter of a ruler from another kingdom called Mbata, and they gave birth to a son called Lekini Luanimi. Now, Lekini really wanted Congo to become the most powerful kingdom in that region. So after his father dies and he becomes the king, Lekini works hard to expand Congo's territory. And how does he do that? He attacked nearby villages, and once he conquered them, he took over their land and people. Any kingdom he found too powerful to be attacked, Lekini would form an alliance with them. He built a new capital on a mountain called Mongo Dia Congo. That city grew into what later became known as Mbanza Congo. So now, the king would send thousands of people captured from the war to go work as slaves in the capital. This he did so the capital stayed powerful and full of food, workers and soldiers, while villages far away stayed small so nobody could challenge him. In order to stay in control of former separate kingdoms, the king would send his relatives or nobles to rule over them. They collected taxes, raised soldiers, and managed local affairs, but they answered to the king. They had to report to the capital and renew their loyalty. Now, here is something very important about how the power in Congo works. When a king died, powerful nobles and members of the royal council would choose the next king from among eligible royal family members. Economically, Congo was very strong. It had organized markets and long-distance trade routes. They produced cloth, copper, and agricultural products. Its currency was small sea snail shells called Nzimbo. The king controlled the main source of these shells from the island of Luanda, which gave him major economic power. Before Europeans arrived, Congo was already a real state, politically organized, economically stable, and militarily capable, like you can call it an actual country. Now, several years and kings go by, and it's now 1483, and Portuguese ships finally reached Congo for the first time. At first, it was not an invasion, it was just a contact. The Portuguese were looking for trade routes and Christian allies. The Congo king, on the other hand, saw an opportunity to gain new goods, new weapons, and international recognition through Portugal. So he welcomed them, a very big mistake. In 1491, the king converted to Christianity. His son, Afonso I of Congo, became one of the most committed Christian rulers in Africa. He built churches, sent students to Europe, and wrote letters directly to the King of Portugal. And under him, Christianity became part of royal identity. For a while, this relationship actually works. It strengthened Congo just like the king wanted, but not for long. In fact, here is where the story really gets dark. Portugal usually buys slaves from Congo in exchange for things the king wanted. But the deal was that the enslaved people sold to the Portuguese would only be war captives, not the normal free Congo people. But the demand for slaves in Portugal increased sharply as they had expanded into Brazil and needed more labor. Now, instead of, asking Congo to raid new villages and capture more slaves, they started capturing free Congo people and sending them as slaves to Brazil. Some Portuguese traders even began operating inside Congo without royal control. And like you'd expect, King Afonso did not like this. He tried to control it, but it was already difficult. Everything was already out of hand. He wrote letters to Portugal complaining that the Portuguese merchants were kidnapping free people, even nobles. Now, at the same time, Portugal founded its colony of Angola to the south, and this gave Portugal more power. It was no longer just a trade partner with Congo, it was now a territorial power in the region. Tension between Portugal and Congo grew over land and trade routes. But that's not even the biggie. Inside Congo, there was an even bigger growing problem. These guys kept fighting amongst themselves on who will become the central king. Every time a king died, different nobles would elect the new king. And most of the time, different nobles supported different candidates. Sometimes the transition was peaceful, other times it was not. They fought wars to control the throne. Portugal, on the other hand, kept expanding into Angola, and the land they were in control of was just not enough for them. They wanted more. They especially wanted control over a rich area called Mbuila. The current king then, King Antonio I, believed that the area belonged to Congo, but Portugal claimed Mbuila was under their authority. Neither side agreed, so Congo clashed with Portugal forces at a battle called the Battle of Mbuila. King Antonio went into this war with a large army, but unfortunately, he was killed. Many leading nobles also died. Royal symbols were captured by the Portuguese, and as if this was not devastating enough, after the king's death, there was no clear king, and two family groups called King Panzo and King Laza fought a 40-year-long civil war over the throne. The beautiful capital city got sacked in 1678 and emptied. People hid in mountain forts, and the coastal province of Congo, called Soyo, became especially powerful and sometimes challenged the authority of the new central king. Soyo became super independent and even beat Portuguese armies sent to attack it. The wars in Congo never really stopped. More and more Congo people were sold as slaves. Sometimes whole villages were punished for crimes. The kingdom just never fully regained its earlier strength. By the 1800s, Portugal colonial expansion increased, and eventually, what was left of Congo's independence was absorbed into colonial systems, and the kingdom completely faded. There was once a kingdom in Africa called Congo. I am posting 45 videos about kingdoms and empires that existed in Africa before colonization. If you want to learn more about such kingdoms, then subscribe to my channel right now. Ogadi, tomorrow. 'Cause this is Africa.